the Toronto Blue Jays are headed to the ALCS, and to keep up with tradition, because when this team clinched the division, this guy and his sister, but his sister is sleeping, this guy was here. So superstitions, they're a real thing in this household. So he's back. Yes, it is almost 11 o'clock in the East, but I'm a good father, and I let my son, who's a Jays fan, watch the team advance to the ALCS. How you feeling, buddy?
Amazing.
Yeah, he never witnessed this before. With everything the Blue Jays did positive in the postseason, he was like one. So this is exciting. How are you doing? Because typically TJ gets a little nervous during those high stress moments, like we all do. How you feeling?
If I had to say, the time where I probably got the most stressed out was it was the bottom of the 8th inning when the Yankees had the bases low. And they flew out for a pitch. I'm like, okay, I found that.
He left the room. Hoffman, right? Hoffman was in at that point. Yeah. Hoffman walked Rice, and TJ's like, "Bye, I'm out." And on the very next, he literally leaves the room, and then the very next pitch, Austin Wells flies out, and I'm like, TJ, it's okay, you can come on back. Unbelievable game.
Yeah.
I'm glad you were able to witness it, to see it. I'm glad. I pulled him out of bed twice, maybe, for this.
No. You pulled me out about once, and then the other time I just came out.
He came out. He heard me laughing. It was when Volpe, when that Yankee fan was telling him to swing the effing bat. Yeah, he heard me laughing. He came down for that one. Amazing game, amazing moment, great memories, and the Blue Jays are going to the ALCS. The stress continues, buddy.
Here's the thing about the ALCS though, is they play so many games that you can never tell that's over. That's the thing about the ALCS, because it's a best of 7, right?
Yes, it is the best of 7. We get more games, which that's just going to add to the stress tolerance there.
Because now you have to win 3 games. So let's say the Jays will either play Detroit or Seattle. Let's say
yes, I want to ask you.
They lose 3 games. I'm like, oh.
Who do you want the Blue Jays to play? Seattle or Detroit?
Tigers.
You want them to face the Tigers?
Seattle, they've got Cal Raleigh. Plus, I like their bats, how they're looking.
Scooble's going to pitch Game 5, which means Scooble won't be ready for Game 1 if Detroit advances. That's good.
Detroit today, they look good at the plate, but I just think the Mariners pitching didn't have their best day.
Bryce Miller was looking good, and then the bullpen blew it up. All right, man. I wanted you to come on because, again, we're sticking with tradition and superstition here. You got to go to bed. This guy has to go to school in the morning. Thoughts on that?
School.
Yeah, as you would expect. Wouldn't expect anything less than that. All right, buddy. Here, give me a high five.
Good night, y'all. Go Jays. I'm out.
See you, buddy. Good night. All right, let's dig into this. Now the cursing can begin. Now that TJ's gone, go upstairs. Okay. We're going to pause on any of the excited cursing that needs to happen here. No, you can't curse. You have to go to bed now. Good night, buddy. Love you. This game worked on every last nerve that I had. As this game was going on, I was finding the ways. I was looking. I was being that fan where I was like, this is it. This is why. This is going to come back and bite us. I didn't like the idea of the bullpen day. I didn't like the idea of every guy is entered into a high stress situation. I didn't like the fact that you had guys that usually pitch 1 inning. When that inning is done, they go sit down and they're done. Those guys were sitting down and then they were coming back out. I was coming up with all sorts of reasons why I was almost convinced that this was not going to go the Toronto Blue Jays way, but it did not. None of it mattered. None of it mattered because the boys came through. How's everybody feeling out there? The Toronto Blue Jays are headed to the American League Championship Series. How is everybody feeling? This game this series. Awesome, Kyle. Thank you, man. John, the Beagle Dad, thank you. Again, the excitement is here. I hopped into the live stream, not to like talk, but just in the chat with the Blue Jays today, guys. And I could tell those dudes, they need a couple days off. The excitement, the stress had visibly started to show its effects on the boys. Amazing. Amazing. Laura is very happy. Preving is feeling good. Justa says, let's go Blue Jays. Thank you, Snackmeister. This is a Toronto Blue Jays team. Think about this. They have advanced to the American League Championship Series without Bo Bichette, without Chris Bassett, without Jose Barrios, without Max Scherzer. But truth be told, honestly, when Max Scherzer signed, did anybody really expect Max to play a major role? I did not. But I figured Bassett and Barrios would have a hand in it. I thought I was hopeful that the best players on the team would be out there. But Bo Bichette is dealing with his injury, started some light running. I am hopeful that we will have him for the ALCS when it begins on Sunday. Sunday is such a long ways away. Still plenty of time for the Toronto Blue Jays and Bo Bichette to figure this out and get him back. Because you want him. This is the series that determines who goes to the championship, and you want your best guys a part of that. So hopefully, Bo Bichette is somebody who can be on the field and be producing for the Jays. If he's not, there are so many bats that just feel like they are locked in right now. Guys that are step up and add-on guys. You know you're going to get production from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Varsho has been that guy this year, so you know you're going to get production from him. You know Kirk is going to produce, but with the series that you get from Ernie Clement, guys, was 9 for 14 in this series. Are you kidding me? Ernie Clement was on fire. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. had a coming out party. I mean, the disappointment for the Toronto Blue Jays.
The 1993 Blue Jays were a juggernaut. This team reminds me of the 1992 Jays.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is the face of the franchise, and the disappointments in previous postseasons, he's the figurehead there, whether it's his fault or not. So to have a big series and be a main reason why they advance, 9 for 17, 3 home runs, 9 runs driven in, 4 runs scored. Made some very fine plays with the glove today. His defense is no joke. Fuzzy Beholz, thank you for the donation. 93 Jays were a juggernaut. This team reminds me of the 92 Jays. You know, I would agree on the 92 thing. I agree with that. I also think so. Thank you, Calvin. The Yankees to go down in this fashion, and now those of you wondering, because we're now 8 minutes in, and I am planning to adjust this. This is going to be heavy Blue Jays here for a little bit, and I have in the works, in the plan, to talk about the Cubs and Brewers, to talk about the Tigers and Mariners, and we are currently in the 6th inning of the Phillies and the Dodgers. Phillies are up right now. I am planning to talk about those as other. I mean, this when you think about this day, the Mariners blowing a chance to punch their ticket. The Brewers blowing a chance. Now the Brewers are still up 2-1. The Cubs really, I mean, you just a little blip on the heart monitor today, and just stop. Don't pull the plug. You can't declare the body yet. We've got a pulse. That's the Cubs situation. They are still facing quite an uphill challenge. The Detroit Tigers, the momentum in that series keeps swinging back and forth. And now you get Skubal on the bump in Game 5. We'll talk more about that. Is that a good thing? I mean, it should be. Again, we'll talk more about that after we talk about this Blue Jays and Yankees series from the Yankees perspective quickly. the disappointment has to be extreme. The Toronto Blue Jays, throughout this series, the majority of this series, just out-hit the New York Yankees. You can talk all about the strikeouts again today. The Blue Jays were the better team when it comes to the strikeouts. 6 strikeouts for the Blue Jays, 10 strikeouts for the New York Yankees. All series long, the Yankees were striking out more than the Toronto Blue Jays. There was a great outing from Cam Schlittler, but it was nowhere near the dominance that he put forth against the Boston Red Sox. Cam struck out two Toronto Blue Jays in this game. That is how good this team is at not striking out. So Cam Schlittler was neutralized. Now, he still pitched into the 7th inning, but 8 hits tallied against him, 4 runs tallied against him. Now, only 2 of those were earned, and I kind of wonder how much are Yankee fans, how angry are Yankee fans at Jazz Chisholm? Or do you say we didn't lose this series because of Jazz Chisholm? I'm very curious, the feeling towards Jazz, because he feels like he could be the scapegoat here. Aaron Boone could be the scapegoat here. That stretch that the Yankees, the ball that they played in the middle of the summer when they kind of went on that swoon, that is probably where you want to point your finger as to where this all went wrong, and it materialized and finalized in what you saw today. Exiting in this series, not getting to start this series in the Bronx, having to play a draining series, albeit a short one, a draining series against the Boston Red Sox where you had to throw Fried and Rodon and Schlittler, so you didn't get to Schlittler again until Game 4 as you're trying to stay alive, and you almost didn't even get to Cam Schlittler. You have to start Luis Heel. You're in Toronto. All of these things that stack up against you. That is because you did not win the division. You did not get the tiebreaker against the Toronto Blue Jays. So is that to blame for this one? I mean, at the end of the day, the Toronto Blue Jays clearly were the better team. And maybe that's just all it is. If you're a Yankee fan, no, they were not cheating. Let's make sure that that does not happen at all. None of that talk needs to be out in the universe. No, there was no cheating here. This team was just better than you. Better than you 3 games out of 4. And because they are moving on. This game. My notes on this Game 4, just to go through it. Loved that the Toronto Blue Jays got up 1-0. George getting on, Vladdy driving him in. Getting that first run felt so important, especially after yesterday, to get back into a position where you are playing with the lead. And as it turns out, the way this game goes, the Blue Jays would never lose the lead in today's game. They got up 1-0. The Yankees tied it at 1 in the 3rd. Then the Blue Jays pushed another run across in the 5th, and the Yankees were not able to get back to the Blue Jays level again the rest of today. But grabbing that right out of the gate, almost proving to the world, proving to themselves, maybe more importantly, yeah, Cam Schlittler was really good against the Boston Red Sox, but we're not the Boston Red Sox, and we can get to them. And they did that. Now, it was tough the way that inning finished, and it became a theme throughout the night. The Yankees kept coming up with big play in the field after big play. And the first inning ended with the Cody Bellinger highlight sliding catch. Those are the moments, again, as I was telling you at the beginning, I was kind of looking for. I was like, okay, what are the signs? What am I'm overanalyzing everything at this point watching the game. What are the signs here? The Yankees are making the plays that lead you to believe that maybe this is just their night in the field. Funny enough that later on in the game, they would not make the play, and Jazz would have that ball that he tried to sort of slide to get off his glove and head into center field. Ultimately, pushing this score to a level that the the New York Yankees were not able to get back up to. But until that moment, you had the Bellinger catch. You had Ryan McMahon making a play. Anthony Volpe had an over-the-shoulder where he kind of I don't know how he caught that baseball. Do you know what I'm talking about? As he's running out there, he just kind of throws his glove out
Bullpen
there,
could have
head down,
backfired big time if
grabbed
we
it,
went
and
to
then
extras.
had the ball in his
Let's
glove.
go,
It's
boys.
what? Bone 6,000. Thank you for the super chat. Bullpen could have backfired. Yes, every single arm. John Smoltz keeps saying it. I've been saying it for a while, and I hate that John Smoltz keeps reminding me that all it takes is one guy to not have it in a close game. And I was worried that it was going to be Brendan Little. In the bottom of the 7th inning, after the Blue Jays get the 2 runs, they knock Schlittler from the game. You have the Jays take the 4-1 lead. That was the bottom of the 7th. Felt like you've got them in the headlock. Now cinch it in and put them to sleep. So the bottom of the 7th felt like a big inning. Brendan Little on the bump. Did you guys see it too? He looked a little nervous, and that's an understatement. Looked stressed, and then he walks Goldschmidt on 5 pitches, all missing inside, and then he starts out with Wells, and I think it was the first couple pitches, the ball was going outside. So that's, for a left-handed pitcher, you start to wonder if his mechanics are off, if he's flying open, and the ball does not have his command. Now you get the fly ball that looked like it could have been a homer off the bat, but Wells just missed it. And then you're starting to think, maybe the baseball gods are actually on our side tonight. And actually, at that moment, I believe we had already had the Jazz Chisholm. We had already had the Jazz Chisholm moment where he does not get the ball. That was Ernie. Yeah, that was in the top of the 7th inning. The 7th inning was when you started to feel like maybe we could do this. Yes, because the score got to a 4-1 situation, but also Jazz didn't make the play, and you had Brendan Little, that ball to Wells dies on the track for Dalton Varsho to reel in there, and then Volpe strikes out, and then Boone, because Little's in, takes Ryan McMahon out of the game. And Ryan McMahon, earlier in the 7th inning, this was the last moment where I figured that, oh my God, the Yankees just have it tonight. In the 7th inning, Santander had that pop out, and McMahon sort of loses his footing, but he's running hard, loses his footing, still makes the catch kind of thing. That was where I was like, Jesus, we can't buy a break. But we saw how the 7th inning went. That was the Jazz inning. That's where Ernie gets a hit, Jimenez gets a hit, and we knock Schlittler from the game. Nathan Lucas drives in some runs, so we get all of that in this game, or in the 7th inning. A lot happening in the 7th inning here, as ultimately that felt like the big inning. Shutting down the Yankees in the 7th was a big job, a great job by Brendan Little, and again, I swore he looked like it was almost, I don't know if that's just his general look, looked very uneasy. So we get the ALCS off of that. A Toronto Blue Jays performance in the divisional round that was outside of Game 3, which freaked everybody out, was just dominant. Absolutely dominant. The pitching today, the bullpen, when you consider the work that bullpen did, Varland, Fluharty, Dominguez, Lauer, Rodriguez, Little, Fisher, and Hoffman. Little Fisher Hoffman sounds like a storybook character. But Little Fisher and Hoffman is how the Blue Jays advanced to the ALCS. Great, just amazing. Nando, thank you for that, man. I'm excited. Back to the ALCS for the first time in a long time. I'm wearing my Take October 2015 hoodie today, and the Blue Jays are moving on. Very excited. Very excited. When I think about who they could take on in that ALCS, I'm torn. I want to know who Jays fans want to take on, because we are now even between the Detroit Tigers and the Seattle Mariners. An opportunity for the Seattle Mariners to put an end to this series, avoid another Tarek Skubal game. Look, okay, hey, there may be Mariners fans that say, I don't care if it's Tarek Skubal. 3 times he's taken the bump against us, and 3 times we have beaten the Detroit Tigers this year. Is the luck going to run out eventually? Do you think that's going to continue? Do you think it happens a 4th time? Now, advantage to Seattle that you are going back home. I think that is important. But in this game, I don't know. I am wondering where Mariners, where the
Happy for you,
head's
even
at.
more sweet against the Yankees.
Let me check that super chat. Matthew, I know there's a lot of Blue Jay fans tonight. There are a lot of Blue Jay fans tonight and today with this series coming to an end, and there's always those happy to see the Yankees go down. Matthew, thank you for that super chat. In this game though, did you want Miller to get more innings here? He comes out, and yes, I know it looked like they were starting to get to him. He was getting into some trouble, but he had pitched 4 solid innings. Do you feel like he was done? I mean, didn't matter because he was done. Taken out of the game, and then the Detroit Tigers bats just pinned their ears back and attacked, mauled that Mariner bullpen. Could not stop them. Javi Baez, salute, congrats, standing O to you. All
I
of
heard
the
that if the
adversity
Jays
this
lose
man
the
has
WS,
dealt
then
with.
Canada has to become the 51st U.S. state.
Javi Baez today had the knock to tie it at 3, and then a 2-run home run a couple innings later to blow it open and make it a 4-run game, and it was done. Big, and even added another RBI in the 9th inning. Big game from Javi Baez, and now Detroit. This is where it comes interesting. This is where it ties back into this Toronto Blue Jays situation. Game 5 will be on Friday. Tarek Skubal is going to take the bump on short rest. The ALCS begins on Sunday. If the Detroit Tigers win this game, Tarek Skubal will probably not pitch until Game 3. Sunday, I mean, do you start him on short rest in Game 2? In a 7-game series? I don't think you do, because you can set him up to pitch Game 3 and Game 7. First 2 games could be played without Tarek Skubal, and the Blue Jays, being the number 1 seed in the American League, these games are in Toronto. A great advantage if it is the Detroit Tigers. If it's the Seattle Mariners, the pitching makes me nervous. George Kirby, it is still TBD as of recording. I'm guessing it'll be Kirby. But with Kirby, with Gilbert, with Castillo, I don't know if Wu gets healthy and gets back or not. He was maybe their best pitcher this year, and he's not there right now. Imagine if you had Brian Wu right now. Is this series over? Are we having to go to a 5th game? I mean, don't know. We'll never know. But that is a key component to this Mariners rotation that is missing here. So do you want the Mariners or do you want the Tigers? If you are a Blue Jays fan, which do you want? Good job by the Detroit Tigers today, fighting back and avoiding elimination. Speaking of avoiding elimination, the Chicago Cubs are still alive as well, as they opened up and scored 4 in the first inning. Again, these first inning ambushes that to this point had not worked out. today it worked out. They put 4 on the board in the first inning. They run Priester, which is a great situation, because if he had gotten comfortable and gotten locked in, that would have been trouble. Turns out the bullpen was locked in because they didn't put anything up on the bullpen, but it did not matter. Michael Busch again going deep. He's now 6 for 20 in this series. He has been huge, and that's an understatement. PCA really, if you're looking for the big hit for the Chicago Cubs, I know the Busch home run was big, but the PCA, with 2 outs and the bases loaded, a 2 RBI knock, and then they tack on another one on a wild pitch. If PCA goes down in that at-bat and the game plays out the way it did the rest of the way, all of the results happened the rest of the way, the Cubs have won, and they're done. They're home. So a fantastic job by the Cubs bullpen, which stepped up in a big way today. Tyone was able to give them, 4 innings, and then they had to go to the bullpen. But the bullpen, it was not lights out in a sense. Kittredge gave up some runs. Thielbar, Keller each walked a batter, but they were able to cool down the Milwaukee Brewers bats long enough to get the win and stay alive. That's all you're trying to do, is stay alive, and the Chicago Cubs were able to do that today by holding on to that first inning lead. Again, something they have gotten in all 3 games, but the previous 2 they were unable to hold on to. Now, I don't know. It's still TBD on who's going to start on either side. I have no idea who starts for the Chicago Cubs. Can you do a bullpen day after you have gone through your bullpen the way they have in this series? Colin Ray didn't pitch today, right? I got to think Colin Ray could probably go and be your opener at least. But this is where now you're testing the depth of options that the Cubs have for their rotation, and it makes me a little worried. Makes me a little worried. We are watching this Phillies and Dodgers game. At the moment, the Phillies are still alive, but that game has not come to a conclusion, so I don't know if we're going to be able to work that into this.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
Oh, my goodness. The Philadelphia Phillies are alive. Alive and well, as at the moment, in the top of the 8th inning, Dodgers fans are exiting the building. It is 8-1. Kyle Schwarber just hit another home run, a moonshot. MLB The Show reference there. I believe they just had the moonshot event. Anyway, it's irrelevant right now. Holy Kyle Schwarber. He hit one about as far as you could out of Dodger Stadium, and he hit one about as short as you could out of Dodger Stadium. And look, there are fans directly behind home plate leaving. Holy crap. The Phillies are alive. It is 8-1. Bryce Harper is finding the gap, and it is getting booted out in center field. They're kicking it all over the place. They're playing soccer with the ball. Harper's on second. This game is done. The Philadelphia Phillies are going to join the Detroit Tigers and the Chicago Cubs, avoiding elimination today. The only team eliminated, I do truly apologize, the only team truly eliminated, or not truly, but actually eliminated, was the New York Yankees today. The Yankees go down. Everybody else looks like they are staying alive, as, again, the only way you will see this is if the Phillies do, in fact, hold on. Right now, blowing the doors off of the Dodgers. Kershaw, yeah, I hate to say it. Kershaw pitching in L.A. This is not the last time. I do not think this is Kershaw's last time pitching at Dodger Stadium. But he is getting roughed up right now. These teams, you saw it with the Yankees last night. I talked about this before the Blue Jays and Yankees played Game 3. And as these series were getting to 2-0s, right? The Brewers
What about our
2-0
bullpen? You a fan? MD raised Blue Jays fan. Much loved.
with the well. Let me get to the super chat. Jensen, I am very happy with the bullpen. Maryland raised Blue Jays fan. I'm down in Maryland these days myself. It is hostile waters. Not so much right now. Getting some love from local Oriole fans because they wanted us to beat the New York Yankees. Picked up a lot of fans that wanted to see the Blue Jays take down the Yankees. A lot of Orioles fans that were rooting for the Jays. I have a feeling that's going to come to an end now. They probably don't care. They'll probably be fine, be happy if the Jays go down in the next round. But I talked about this as we got to these series, as they progressed to these 2-0 deficits for the teams that were down. The Cubs down 0-2. The Phillies down 0-2. The Yankees down 0-2. You have that game. You have that stay alive at all costs, play like there's no tomorrow game. The Phillies are having it right now, where you find that level inside yourself that maybe you didn't know was there, and you go to a place that you can't fabricate, you can't fake it, you can't, at the beginning of a series when it's 0-0, you can't go directly to that mindset of there's no tomorrow. You can't fake that stuff. And the Cubs today played with it. The Yankees yesterday played with it. The Phillies today doing it, playing as if there is no tomorrow, down 0-2, because it is quite an uphill battle here. It is 3 games that the Phillies have to win against the Dodgers. Just take it one at a time. Just take it one at a time. Cubs got to win 3 games against the Brewers, just one at a time. Yankees had to win 3 against the Jays. Just take it one at a time. Just get that one. Now, you see that sort of bounce back in that elimination game. What happens next? The Blue Jays, in that what happens next, were able to put the Yankees away. We will see these National League teams go at it tomorrow. We will see the Dodgers try to put an end to it tomorrow. We will see the Brewers try to put an end to it tomorrow. But this is a big showing by the Philadelphia Phillies. I have to think you're going to Sanchez, and it has already been, they already listed the probables for tomorrow. Sanchez and Glasnow. Those are tomorrow's probables for the Phillies and Dodgers. Game 4. Who do you like in that? Christopher Sanchez looked good last time out. Christopher Sanchez is elite. Christopher Sanchez is a true ace, and you're going to give him the ball. You have Nola today for 2 innings. You had Suarez go for 5. At this point, you can take him out and keep him rested so that if this goes to a Game 5, you can maybe go to Suarez in the bullpen. You go to Nola in the bullpen. Everybody will be available except for Christopher Sanchez if they get it to a Game 5, even Nola and Suarez, because you're going to play Game 4 tomorrow, and if you can win tomorrow, you get a day off before you play Game 5 on, I believe it would be Saturday. So that you got to get him out, and it does look like they're going to go with Kerkering to pitch in the 8th inning, which is the right move. Again, Suarez, 5 innings tonight. Good ball, good pitching. A total of, how many pitches did we have from Ranger Suarez tonight? We had a total of, Nola threw 31, 72 from Ranger Suarez. So he should be available if you go to a Game 5. Not to start. You won't need him to start. You'll start Luzardo in Game 5. But you would have Ranger Suarez available out of the bullpen if you need him. Good job by the Phillies. This is what you were looking for. You were looking for this lineup to wake up and have these big outburst innings. Turner with 3 hits. Schwarber with 2 hits and the 2 bombs. Harper with his first 2 hits of the series. Bohm with a multi-hit game. JT Realmuto with a multi-hit game. This is what you were looking for. And that Phillies game has gone final. The Philadelphia Phillies have beaten the Dodgers and stay alive and force a game 4 where Christopher Sanchez will take on Tyler Glass. Now, that is going to be a movie, and we will be here after that game live to react to it as the National League takes the stage tomorrow. Cubs stay alive, Phillies stay alive, so we get 2 games for the National League tomorrow, and we'll see if we move on beyond that. But congratulations to the Toronto Blue Jays. This fan base has gone through a lot of being looked down on, a lot of being disrespected, as many of us fan bases go through from time to time. But this one feels good. Getting over, advancing to the ALCS, as many of you have commented, getting over on the Yankees feels good. I'm just happy they are moving on to the ALCS, and now we gear up for that. We'll see who they are facing after Friday when Detroit and Seattle go. But that is going to do it for this one, everybody. I do appreciate you coming in and spending time with the channel. Ballcap Nation, I salute you. To my 100 Club and extra salute to you. Those of you that make it to the end of the live streams, the end of the videos, you do it time and time again. You are helping to promote the channel on YouTube just with your time spent watching, because that is a key component to the YouTube algorithm. So thank you for that. I truly do appreciate it. Make sure to smash that like on the way out. And remember, if it's low, let it go. And if it's high, let it fly. I'll catch you next time.